Hi everyone, thanks for checking out the podcast. Buzz about golf. Steve the Buzzman here, partner in crime.
Coach Megan.
Coach Megan. Today is a sad day, Megan. I have been a pro since 2017. I have done things on the way. I have won events. I've
Have lofty goals,
had lofty goals.
which is good.
I've achieved many of those goals. Golf has moved me around the world. I've lived on 2 separate continents. 3, if you count the one that I grew up on. I used to putt bad, and I learned how to putt good. I used to drive it far. I learned how to hit it further. Goals, I'm very proud of. 1 goal last week. I've held on to since 2017. I made a 10, Megan.
Yeah.
2017. One of the things I've had going, I had not had a double-digit score in a pro event.
And like, didn't you say you went somewhere the other day and like Mark or someone was like, you made a 10, didn't you? And so like, people actually know that you did.
Yeah, but people know because I tell them.
Oh.
And the one thing that I do, in all fairness,
You don't
to me,
go through every shot.
I'm not saying I'm and what I'm about to say, I'm not saying I'm above you people. I'm not saying that there is a potential that I've got royal blood. I don't know the lineage. So maybe that is the case. I post when I do well. I post when I do bad.
That is true.
Social media.
That is
You know, I had a tied 12th at the first event, 1 under par. I posted that. Really great start to the summer. I had to do a follow-up post at the next event. Turns out I made a 10. Didn't come tie 12th. Actually, didn't place that well at all.
And
So,
you posted it.
you go post it. Social
Yeah.
media. Don't just post the good stuff. You know, or... You know,
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
and the very ugly. So my 10... And
Can we at least know like what happened on that hole?
so, this story starts...
It's hole number 9.
It's hole number 9.
PGA Frisco West.
PGA Frisco West. So the West course, Fields Ranch West. So this is North Texas PGA. Basically our qualifier, so our professional championships. The top, I believe, 7 go through to play in the PGA Club Championships. That one, if you are in America, is shown on the Golf Channel. If you come in the top 20 of that, you get to the PGA Championships. Mm-hmm. I was excited for this one because next year's PGA Club Championships is Bandon Dunes. Bandon is a bucket list course. We have been very fortunate. We've played many places. That's somewhere that we would love to go. We have not gone. So it was set up for me to play nicely and get to go to Bandon.
Mm. Where else could you have played?
So let's talk about my 10 first, and then we'll get into... So
I've just taken the knife and just...
Jokes aside. How well did you do? Oh, yeah, you didn't play. Shut up. So...
I didn't even caddy.
So this story starts many years ago. Before I came to America, we're at Saunton Golf Course.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay, I've played there.
So Saunton, the West Course.
Nice.
The 10th hole is a par 5. I hit 3 tee shots off of the tee. Or no, maybe I hit 2. Anyway, maybe I hit a drive, then I hit a provisional. I think I may have hit another one. Anyway, get up there. I can't find any of them. I had to come back to the tee. So
That's
that would
crazy.
be 5 off the tee, wouldn't it?
Oh, wow.
5. Anyway.
Oh, this is 2017 Saunton.
No, I don't know. This was just back in the day, man.
Okay.
I turned pro in 2017. It may have been then.
Oh, okay.
It may have been then. Anyway, I made the most outrageously good up and down of my life. 4 and 9.
Oh, wow.
And I know there's one other time, and I can't remember the other story, but I had another time where I got it up and down 4-9. In this one, I was at the bottom of the slope, needing up and down 4-9. I left the 10-footer short.
Oh.
But so if you want to hear about my 10,
I do.
So the interesting thing with my 10 is the story's actually not as elaborate as you think it would be. I pushed my drive in the hazard, I dropped it out.
Okay.
I then, because I'm not in the best of moods, decide it was actually the second shot that caused me all my problems. The tee shot was poor, and I'd actually just got it up and down on the previous hole, so I'm just 2 over through 8. I was actually not playing too bad. And I had a really good up and down, so I was pretty happy off the tee. I felt like I was aiming a bit left off the tee and then blocked one. Got 2 options. Back off, start again, or hey dum-dum, just hit it. I chose option 3. So, bad tee shot, but like not the end of the world. But because I'm frustrated, I'm taking a drop on a slope, and I was planning on the ball, when I thought the ball would bounce and roll off. So I do that twice and then place it. I drop the first one, it stays within the club length. It's an average lie, it's not the worst lie, but it's not a particularly good lie either. So I'm in a bad mood, I decide I'm going to go at the green regardless. You were actually with me in the practice round. So if you remember in the practice round, I hit hybrid short right of the green, and I said to you, that's as good as I can hit it. This isn't a sensible play. The gap in here isn't big enough.
Yeah.
So why do you have practice rounds? To learn. So then in the event, you don't do dumb stuff. But I was in a good mood in the practice round, mainly because you were there, Megan. In the actual round, my mood not quite as good. The lie not quite as good. So we go, look, if it didn't work from the fairway, probably not going to work from an average lie. Not the opinion I took. I'm just going to whack this hybrid, get it up there. I actually thought I'd probably catch the bunker. It wouldn't be the end of the world. Anyway, I snipe hook it back up into the long grass.
Yikes.
I find it up there, which I thought was a good thing. Turns out to be a bad thing, because I had hit a provisional up the right. I would have still hit it on the green and made like a 7.
Yeah.
Probably would that have been a 7 or an 8. Not double digits though. No story, just a bad hole. Hit it in the long grass. I've now got 60 yards. I've got no angle. I had no shot really. I'm trying to hack it out onto the green. I hit it in this bunker, and this bunker's huge. If you've played, and love the golf course there. The West course, first time I'd experienced it the Friday before. Really, really nice course. This bunker is huge. Great for a par 5. It like covers the green. So I've gone into the bunker, and now and the way I describe it, if somebody goes to a casino at the beginning of the night and they're recklessly gambling, at the end of the night, they're probably not going to go, look, can I just play the odds now and play it safe? You know, it's just only going to bad decision on top of bad decision on bad decision. I'm trying to hit my bunker play is good, so I'm trying to be too clever. I hit the lip the first time.
Wow.
Actually, in terms of strike, was a good one. Hit the lip again, comes back to me. The third one I thought was actually really good, but I forgot that there was a slope off the side of the green. So as I got out of the bunker, I apologized to the group behind, because as you can imagine, this was taking a little while. Sorry, guys. I think I'm having a breakdown here. I then come around the corner, and my ball, which I assume was on the green, was not on the green.
No.
So then I, as I said, started the story, pitch it on the green, missed the putt. That added up to a 10.
Wow.
And it's funny, because can you see that story is actually not, you would think, oh, then I shanked it, or then I did, and I got stuck somewhere, and it was just like, I compounded error on top of error on top of error.
How many putts did you have?
I missed the 10-footer. Tapped it in.
Yeah.
So, but
I was going to say, because I keep counting wrong. I need to do the math on that later again.
So 1 into the hazard.
Yep, 1.
Breaking news, maybe it was a 9.
I keep counting 9, but
So here's
okay.
so here's the
So
one.
you hit your third
So
snap hook
what you're
hybrid.
going
Fourth,
through right now,
5,
I went through on the
6,
next tee.
7, 8. Oh, 9, 10.
10.
Darn.
Yes. It's funny whenever somebody, this always happens at the end of a round, or not every time, but it happens a couple times a year, when somebody thinks that you've shot one lower than you thought, never the case. When they think you've shot one higher than you thought, usually the case. So
That's funny.
So anyway, that somewhat ruined my day. Where can we go with this podcast, or what's the learning opportunity? So, in all seriousness, in the last 2 weeks, I had an opportunity to qualify there and go to Bandon, and then I did TP Classic down in Houston, and I had the opportunity there to qualify to go to Pebble Beach. So 2 bucket list opportunities. Neither owed to me, but I was playing well enough to have the opportunity to compete for that prize.
Yeah.
The problem I had, both rounds, so the 10 is actually just a blip in the second round. Both of those rounds, or both of those tournaments, so the one in Houston was just 18 holes, I started double bogey, par, double bogey, some 4 over through 3. And then the first round at the North Texas event, I shot 79, which was 7 over. But I think I was 8 over through 4. So I've got off to horrific starts. So the point of today's video, and we're going to stick to our format, we got 3 each, of how can you prevent getting off to horror starts? And I'll caveat, both events, I'm playing well enough to do well. And sometimes when you're in that place, the start becomes harder than if you're just playing poorly. Because if you're playing poorly, you're like, it is what it is. Sometimes with golf, when you're playing well, and it could be you're just playing well, or you've prepared really well. Let's say, just use a club championship example. You're like, look, I've been leading up. I've been training over the summer. I've been trying to eat better. I've been practicing more. So it leads into the event. You've genuinely tried. I think it's sometimes, if you don't try, the likelihood of you winning goes down significantly.
Yeah.
But it can arguably be easier because there's no pressure comes with not trying. And excuses are fruitful when you don't try.
Yeah.
When you go in, like to both of these events, I've been busy. I've been coaching, and that's my number one priority when it comes to golf. And I've been very, very busy. So I definitely didn't get the chance to practice as much as I would have liked to, played as much as I'd like to, and more importantly, had some rest. So I've been going in there, a little fatigued. But I definitely arrived at both with a game that was capable of qualifying. The score, especially in Houston, it was the score that my golf game is able to create was in the zone of which would have qualified for Pebble.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, there's 50 other people in the room that can make that comment.
Yeah.
But the frustration was how quickly it was gone before it could start.
So before we get to our 3, I have some clarifying questions I need to know. One is, do you feel like you didn't prepare for it? Because I thought you did prepare for it.
I prepared as well as I think I could have.
Okay.
When I made the comment, I had the golf game to qualify in both. I believe that statement, and if I hadn't done anything prior, I don't think I would have. I'm not making that comment. I would just say, I was busy. I was busy.
Oh, I didn't.
So.
And then, did you feel like you had enough time before the round to feel like you were ready to go, or did you kind of feel like you were chasing your tail a bit, like going into the round?
So in terms of practice?
Yeah, like, some people get there an hour early, some people get there 2 hours early. Like, I was actually kind of shocked that tour event, the Travelers, they did a video on, like, PGA Tour of when all the players were getting there, and, like, some of the players get there, like, 5 hours early, which I was obviously surprised about.
To answer the question, I didn't have a practice round in Houston, which, with my personality, I would have done a lot better if I'd had a practice round. The first hole, I got worried about going left and pushed it in the trees. So watching, I hit my mini driver. So watching, you would be like, oh, he's just sliced one in the trees. The reality is it was a small push. I was aiming way down the right to offset if it hooked. That is a combination of like what we're going to say here, but also knowing the course. I think I would have used a different club. I think the mini driver was putting me, it was maybe a fraction safer than the driver, but it still had a lot of the risk of the driver. So I probably should have just banged driver or hit more of a hybrid, something down the left. The latter, I think, was probably the better option. I hit it over the green in 2. I didn't know you couldn't do that. I actually hit a really good chip and it rolled off the front of the green. You couldn't, 20 foot past the hole was difficult. I was 20 yards over the green because I chased one under the trees. If I'd known, I would have probably made sure I come up short. I thought it was better to like get it chasing at the green. So first one, lack of preparation in terms of I didn't have a practice round. The second one actually felt great. I had a good warm up. Irony is I hit 10 really good drives, 9 really good drives. I hit one that was a low pull hook. Then I stood up on the first tee and who showed up? Hey mate. But
there you are.
And then I'm not going to talk. Please don't switch. I'm not going to talk through every bloody shot. It makes me as depressed as it makes you at home. And you'll zone out as well. The second hole, I pushed it. I didn't clear. It was quite windy. I didn't cover the hazard. So
yeah,
that's
weird.
And here's one for tournament, especially tournament golf, but for your golf in general. It probably landed the other side and bounced. So I potentially could have dropped it up there, but because neither of us knew. You can't just assume, so I had to go back to the tee.
Yeah.
One of the guys I was playing with actually ended up winning, Matt. Fantastic golfer, but really, really good guy as well. He's like, look, it's kind of on the player if you think it covered. But he was very clear. Like, this isn't my decision. I don't know.
Oh wow.
And unfortunately, I was in the same situation as him. I really don't know. I thought it was on the fairway.
Yeah.
So you look. Yeah, I generally don't know.
You don't know the course
and
well
sometimes
enough.
It's like, look, it might have bounced. That doesn't mean it covered the hazard. It might have bounced in that. We didn't know. I had to go back to the tee. If there was a spotter there.
Yeah.
I did really well in a. We have Southwest Counties Week back in England. It's where all the counties in the Southwest kind of get together. I came 3rd in the stroke play, which was kind of a big deal. But on the 10th, I bounced into the hazard, and it had actually gone into a slim like elite. I wouldn't have known because there were like gorse bushes. There was a spotter up there. There was a guy. He said, "Oh, it's gone in there."
Oh my gosh.
So I could drop it there. I made a bogey.
Yeah.
If he wasn't there, it's like you can't go. Oh, it's probably gone in there. It's like it could be anywhere. Had to go back. So now all of a sudden it's a double bogey probably. Plus
and that's
all
just,
of the momentum's gone.
Golf can be so unfair like that sometimes. Yes. So my 3, do you want to know my 3?
Yeah, so your 3, and again, let's do this. So your 3 for how to prevent a slow start.
Okay.
And go through all 3 to start with.
So my number 1 is associating things with like certain superstitions. So if you warm up poorly on the range, assuming that that means that you're going to warm up poorly on the course, or kind of like associating things in a negative way instead of taking the same example and being like, hey, I warmed up poorly on the range. That means all my good shots are going to be on the course, right? So you can mix a lot of those.
There's a story of Tiger. So Tiger played in the Deutsche Bank. He used to go over to Germany, and I'm not sure how true the story is, but they said there was signs on the range, and not only was he hitting the signs, he hit the 50 like between the zero. He hit the 100 between the zero. He hit the 150 between the zero. Boom, 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 boom. Started with a double bogey.
Wow.
So
That is crazy.
sometimes, and it's understanding. So when it comes
Doesn't
to
mean
warm
that
up,
you're going to warm up.
yeah, but it's a warm up. I think a lot of the time people make it a additional practice session. So keeping a warm up as a warm up. The superstition stuff, it like you say, it has to be positive.
Yeah.
Superstitions aren't logical, so you certainly can't use it as.
Well, even though, like, oh, if I birdie the first hole, I'm going to play bad for the rest of the. It's like.
People say that, don't
you
they?
could actually play really well if you
Yeah.
You can't birdie them all if you don't birdie number one. So there's just ways you could change that around. Number two, I kind of moved mine around a little bit, is when you need something to refocus you. So even from the start of your round, I call it like the second golf bag. So you have your 14 clubs that you're allowed to have. It's like the other clubs, your mental strategies of like little tricks you can pull out of the bag when you need them to refocus. So certain games that you can play, like I always talk about this, but every 3 holes just resetting and seeing how well you can do on each set of 3. So that's like just how do we get you to refocus when you need to for that shot.
And blocking into 3, I really like, because again, if you listen to what I'm saying in the events, I know I can qualify for both things. Can you see that's right at the end? You see, by doing the first 3, you can go, oh look, I'm going to deal with that, then I'm going to deal with the net, and they will then compound together. So
Yeah.
that's a good little trick of
More of like a process goal than the ultimate goal. And then the last thing is actually just self-talk. So are you beating yourself up? Are you speaking to yourself the way that you would if you were caddying for me? Like, would you say those things to me if you were on holes number 1, 2, 3? When all these implosions are happening, if you were caddying for me, would we be like signing divorce papers right now? Like, what would be happening? You'd probably be going to jail for like.
So negative self-talk
Negative.
is one of my biggest issues. It's somewhat better than it was. As a kid, it used to be beyond terrible. When I was at college, I had a session with a sports psychologist, Rich. He probably still is now, but he was obviously a fantastic sports psychologist at Cardiff Met. But he was also in charge of all of the mindset stuff for Welsh golf. So, very, very good at what he did, but very much intertwined with golf. He said, how do I speak to myself on the course? And after pausing and reflecting for a bit, I said, if I spoke to others like it, at best, I would have no friends. At worst, I could potentially be in jail. That's how bad the self-talk. It's understanding with self-talk, and I like what you just said about having your physical golf bag and the tools. Just because you naturally do something doesn't mean you can't learn not to do it. And I think when it comes to mindset stuff, too often people go, yeah, but that's just who I am. You know the glass half full or the glass half empty. Being cognitively aware of it is the first step to changing it. So a lot of the time we have habits and we run programs very subconsciously. So the first step is to make them conscious and go, look, actually the way I'm speaking to myself is pretty poor. And I certainly, so the first hole, I hit it in the trouble. It was a terrible golf shot, by the way. I stood up on the, I stood up round 2, and I looked out, and you would think you'd be nervous, like, oh my gosh, like, I hope I don't do that again. I looked out, and it was so offline. Day 1, you were like, oh my God, how the hell did you do? Like, nobody's bad enough to do that 2 days in a row.
Oh, wow.
You know, so it was almost freeing. Like, you go, oh my God, I didn't realize how bad I was. Like, then hit the fairway. You know, so it was, but I found it in the hazard, and then I hacked it out into the cross bunker, and then totally locked it, because I should have been aiming more out to the right. But when you're hacking it out of long grass, it sometimes won't go where you want. But even so, the second shot of a 36-hole tournament, I've already turned on myself. And to your
Second shot.
yes, and I started calling myself names.
Yeah.
You know, about how.
Well, and like,
How dumb
I
I
don't
was.
know this. You are the only one that knows that, because you'll say some things out loud, but still what you're saying to yourself that people don't hear, that's the scary part.
Yeah. So, to be fair, I shouted that one, so everybody knew exactly what I was thinking in that moment. But again, you know, you turn on yourself and you don't realize.
But
how
like,
starts
is
to
that part
influence.
of it? Is it like a show? Is it like, do you think it's funny? Like, what is it part of, like, your coping with it, like almost turning it into like a beat yourself up so that other people know that you're not happy with how you're playing? Or like, where do you think that's something that just as a youngster you kind of developed? Or
So, God, it's turning into a therapy session.
I really want to know, because I think it's actually
So we'll go to my
a big one.
We'll go to
You're
my,
3.
We'll
Okay,
go to
okay.
my we'll go to my last one, because I think it answers that question.
Okay.
So my last one here, I've put, you have to match your personality, and I think one of the things. So I've done a lot with mental golf type, which I really think for my biomechanics background. If you have a lesson with me, I pride myself on giving you solutions that are optimal to your body and your experiences. So
Yeah.
if your arm won't go that way, I'm not going to ask you to have a swing. If you grew up in the wind, I'm not going to ask you to hit. Oh, I think you should hit it higher, because you see your experiences have created something. So let's make it optimal. With your personality, it's the same. So I am an introvert by nature, but I've had to become extroverted for when we do this, for when you're coaching. You know, I can't be stood in the and again, stereotyping, and this isn't, but I can't be standing in the corner being silent in a golf school. Everyone's doing really well. You know, just carry on. It's not about me. You know, but what happens with energy management is, so when I'm on the golf course, I think sometimes, so when you're under stress, you tend to do the opposite. So when I'm playing pretty well, I'm going to be pretty quiet. You know, I kind of like, so we play in threes. So I actually like being the third, so having a cart by myself. You see, I'll just drive around. Problem is, I think with my coaching, is I have to be more extroverted in the day, so it becomes more of a show, but then it tires you out. The other problem with my show is my what we could say coping mechanism, but my comedic timing is very based around satire and you know, that humor, sarcasm. So when I'm not doing well, maybe the coping mechanism is to tell the jokes, but I'm always the butt of the joke. When I was younger, and you made a point, and I think there is some truth in it, is if you think you're going to qualify and you come tied 90th, it doesn't make you feel particularly special about being there. So I think sometimes it does become a bit of a look at me, you know, don't forget that I'm here. I definitely feel, especially in young boys,
Yeah.
you know, I actually felt myself, and you know, I should throw this. You know,
Because that was trained at some point
Yes.
that's how you get,
whereas
you show everyone you're mad,
when
right?
I was younger, I would just throw it.
Yeah.
Now it's like when I made the 10, my cart was away from me, so I threw my club back. You know, but that was a show.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like when I was a youngster, the club's gone. You know, and in that 10, it's probably, you know, probably stamped the shaft or something. But you know that's happening through the rage. Whereas now it's like I probably should throw that just to show people that I'm actually a bit upset that I'm about to make a 10. But matching personality. So when I'm doing well, I should be a little quieter. On the first tee, and I knew the guys on the first tee, I was joking around, you know, having a good time. And
That is interesting.
you
It
could
kind of
argue,
took you into that other side.
We get, like, my first tee shot, they do live scoring, so my phone's on, so I'm getting
Yeah, you hate
messages.
that.
I'm getting messages through for coaching and,
Yeah.
you know, questions that were maybe not about there. So, but again, I'm the one. You know, you need the discipline to put your phone over there and go put the scores in when we are. So
That's tough.
I can use that argument. Oh, the first hole wasn't live scoring on the first hole, was I? Hey mate, what did you score? Well, I haven't actually hit yet, Steve. You know. Oh! It doesn't ask. Did you putt well on the putting green? So.
Well, I think a lot of people can relate to that. Just how phones can.
Yes.
Phones are tough.
Phones are tough, and it's easy to say switch it off, but a lot of the time, like if you've got a family and you're playing on a Saturday, if they need you, they need you.
Yeah.
You know, so and I know 99% of the time the call that comes through isn't that.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes you need it. I've put internal confidence. So I think one of the issues, and this is one I've certainly experienced, is I almost need 5, 6, 7 holes to prove to myself that I can do it. So you see, I'm getting my confidence from the external, whereas confidence has to come. And again, there's mindset training that you can do to go, look, I need to feel it before I maybe have shown it. You know, you see what I'm saying? You need to be in a situation where I can't go, well, I can't be confident yet, because how do I know I'm going to do well? The beautiful thing with confidence, you don't have to announce it to anyone.
Yeah.
But you have to try and create a state. And one of my issues, and sometimes just what you said, break it up into 3s.
Yeah.
And you go, look, I'm just going to get through the first 3. I used to always say to and again, sometimes this is just a belief that's not got that much logic to it, but I would always say I'm a strong finisher. But there was an undertone of that. And I'm a strong finisher because I know I'm not a very good starter. So if you believe that,
yeah,
and there's
yeah.
pressure. And I was given a gentleman a lesson last week, and his handicap's come down a lot. He was 7 or 8 when he started with me, and within 18 months he's now 2. But can you see his good golf? He doesn't have a buffer anymore. So when you're an 8, if you put 5, 6, 7 good holes together, regardless of what you did, you'll probably start hitting your target score. If you're a 2 and you start with a double bogey, you go, well, now I'm a scratch. You know, I've just lost all my shots. Do you see there's sometimes the pressure comes with having a lower index, especially if it doesn't have to be a low index, just lower than what you were.
Yeah, it's setting that bar and then
Yes.
feeling like you have to reach it. You see that a lot with club golfers, I feel like.
Yeah. And have you done your 3?
Yeah, I shared all 3 with you.
You shared all 3?
Yes.
Thank you. Counting is a little bit triggers me at the minute, Megan. How many have you done? 9? 10? My last one. And this is going to go being versus doing. And I've mentioned mental golf type. Flow code is another one that I've done a lot with, and NLP I've done a lot. So they're kind of how I encompass my mental training. I've actually been reading a book. I think it's called Golf Beneath the Surface.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think, and they talk about a being state of mind versus a doing state of mind. So a lot of the things that I think about, I actually kind of, this book I'm reading, I kind of like their terminology, so I'm kind of borrowing that. Doing is like trying to like make it happen. So can you see, I know I could be playing Pebble next year. I know I need to make that happen. What do I need to do? This. Versus a being is just like, I think you're a bit more present.
Yeah.
Definitely more like process gold.
Yeah.
So again, for me, like that first, and the irony with the first tee shot that I hit, and I told you it was an absolute stinker, but the things I did were not necessarily, it just made a bad swing. I told you on the range, I hit that shot once, I hit 9 great ones. And I knew I was hitting it great because we had vendors out and I could tell they were watching me. You could tell they're like, wow, really, he's hitting it really, really good.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell. You know, so I've hit 9 which are like, look, these can help me win. Oh, I hope that one doesn't happen very often.
That's who
That's the
shows
one that
up.
showed up. And then the irony is the second, and sometimes it's just random. The second I don't make the carry with what I thought was like a 7 out of 10 drive. It wasn't great. Whereas if I'd hit that low hook, there was space over there and you get away with it.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
you go, look, it's that being state of mind. And I think going back to what you were saying about the rage or the outburst, you go, look, and I've got an event next week. I did retire on Tuesday.
But he's going to be back next week.
It's ended up being more of a Mike Tyson, not Mike Tyson, a Tyson Fury kind of. So Tyson Fury
Retired for like a week?
So he's retired 5 times.
Oh, gosh.
But he's coming back again.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, but like my body's aching a bit, so I do need to do stuff physical, but I'm not. I finished. I'm like, look, I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah.
And you go, look.
Well, if you beat yourself up for 18 holes, who would?
No, 100%.
So I just want to say before we go into different things. So a lot of what I've been talking about is Vision 54 grounded.
Yeah.
And one thing that they always say is you're a human being, not a human doing. And it's so exactly on track with what you're talking about. But I love that one. That was a really interesting one.
And you'll find, especially and something that I've come to the conclusion of is a lot of the time people do better on the range than on the course, not because they can't transfer it, they don't know what they need to transfer. So what I find is on the range, we tend to behave how we should optimally behave. So a good example is you're just looking out, you're not overly focused, and you get on the course and you're like, oh, I've got to aim small, miss small, I've got to, and you weren't doing that on the range.
Yeah.
You know?
Or like working on their routine only when they're in a tournament instead of all the time.
I've made this comment before. If you don't work on your routine, it's not a routine. It gets in the way.
Yeah.
Everyone, and I think a pre-shot routine should only help you if you implement it. But if you don't practice it, it gets in the way. It's a negative thing. But we start to break these things down and we go, look, I just need to behave how I do. And I'm more of a perceiver in nature. So sometimes what can happen on the course is, especially, I've got that analytical side of my brain from like my biomechanical research. I end up going a little bit too much in there. When you're not doing very well, you tend to start looking at others. I had a vision, and again, visualizing the future. There's a doctor called Joe Dispenza, and one of the things that I like that he said was, you should visualize yourself driving home with the trophy. Because the way time works, if you have the trophy, you therefore won. unless you're Shooter McGavin and you've stolen Happy's green gold jacket.
Yeah.
But so you can picture yourself out ahead doing well. What I was visualizing, and now things didn't go well, is I had this vision of me holding a putt and then like roaring, like all of this excess built up frustration was going to be released. You know that almost this darkness is going to be released by me holding that winning putt. And you go, look, you will not be in position to hold a winning putt if that's what you're bringing around with you.
Yeah.
I like to, I used this with an elite golfer last week. Cool runnings.
Yeah.
You know the coach in it. You've got the head. Is it Darius? Who's the head guy in Cool Runnings? We're definitely watching Cool Runnings this evening.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
can't wait. I love that movie.
The lead.
Yeah.
He asks the coach, and the coach had been stripped of his medals because he got caught cheating, and he asks like, how will I know if I'm ready? And he says, if you're not, I'm paraphrasing, but if you don't feel worthy without the medals, you won't feel worthy with the medals.
Yeah.
You know, you have to feel it before you get it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I like to describe golf not as a marathon. You'll hear people a lot, they talk about golf is a marathon. But golf isn't a marathon. A marathon runner tries to run a set split mile to mile. Golf doesn't do that. You might go, oh, if golf was a marathon, you'd go, oh, look, I'm going to par the first, then I'm going to par the second, then I'm going to par the third. You know, it's steady.
Yeah.
Golf isn't like that. Golf for me is like the sprint race at like the Tour de France. You know, road cycling. The sprint happens in the last 100 meters, but you can't get disconnected from the pack. So your whole day you have to stay in there, and then at the end you then sprint to the line. You can't sprint to the line if you got disconnected. So you see, with a marathon, you just keep, you know, this is my target time. I'm just going to go steady. We have to stay in the game. And can you see my way of thinking there is, oh, I'm going to have this roar and this release of all of the bad things that I've carried around in my golf game since I was 12 years old. Can you see that and how it works?
Yeah.
So you have to go, look, and now I look at that, you go, look, there's a frustration in there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the time, I have all the tools, and this can be the tough thing with a coach. You know, you help everyone else, and you don't apply it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got, look, I've got the skills, I've got the equipment, I've got the things I need to do, but you have to go do it.
Yeah, definitely.
And we learned this at NLP. Neuro-linguistic programming. They said, look, we're going to make you aware of things that are probably quite subconscious at the minute. So if you don't make the changes because you're aware of them, they're actually going to upset you more.
Yeah.
Because at the minute you don't know, you know, this is life.
That's really interesting.
This is life. Once you start being aware, and this is why I'm saying it's easier not to try. You know, we'll finish here. We've kind of gone full circle. It's easy not to try because you turn up. Oh, it didn't go very well. I didn't try.
Yeah.
Or you get off to a better start. You're like, oh, okay, cool. You know, when you're trying and then you're more aware of it. You're aware of the possibility of winning. It takes bravery, Megan,
So brave.
for somebody that made an F in 10 to say, oh, I was capable of qualifying. Yeah. It's easy to say, oh, no, I'm not very good. I'm crap at this. I'm crap. Every aspect of my game was there, and I showed it in blocks. So in a marathon, I started too slow, and then I got into a rhythm. But the leaders had already gone. I couldn't sprint to reconnect with them. So like I was saying with that peloton, I had great moments in the race, but I had a few issues where I got disconnected. You know, cycling, you need that team to keep dragging you forwards. Let's just say on a few of the holes, I wasn't on my own team. Got a little disconnected, so then you have pockets of 5-6 holes. My first day, 79, looks real average, but I've played 1 under for the last 12, 13 holes.
Yeah, that was it was all in the first 4 holes.
Yeah,
everything.
They were playing hard, and
Yeah.
you know,
Well, it's just like golf is already it's such a challenge in itself that making it even harder on yourself is
absolutely.
a big thing.
So
Next week.
Next
Next
week,
week we will be back again with another tournament.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be as depressing.
As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So comment down below.
I think this is.
Have you made a 10?
I think this is relatable, and it's not. The irony is that 10 happened after I was actually more disappointed with the start.
Yeah.
Than I was with the 10. The 10 is like whatever, making 9. A 9's just bad.
It's so not like you though. The bunker thing, like you never have 3 shots in the bunker.
It's hard. It was just big.
Yeah. But I don't think it was hard. You just didn't do well that.
No, but I was trying to hit it. I was trying to hit it close.
Okay.
So if I'd hit it in there in 2, I'd have just splashed it out.
Yeah.
Because I told you when bad decision after bad decision, I was trying to get it close.
Yep.
So we get there anyway. We don't need to relive it for a 3rd time, Megan. So let's.
It just was not like you. I'm excited for this next one coming up. I have my own personal goals for you. What goals do you have for Steve? Comment down below.
I'm out of retirement. That's the main thing. But I am willing to go back into it. I'm not. I'm gonna put a good mindset in there.
Yes.
I'm consciously aware of my fault within my mental capacities. That's stage 1. I have the skills. Stage 2. Stage 3 is I'm going to be a human being. And that's going to...
Yeah.
And I will then win.
If my goal for you, it's a simple goal for this tournament, and I'm just wondering if you would do it or not. Would you speak to yourself the way you would speak to me? Or is that just off the table? Like, can you just pretend internally like you're caddying for me? Like, and everything you're saying would be, would I say that to Megan? Would you be willing to try that?
I'm so lucky. So lucky.
I'm just curious. If you hit, like, me off of whatever, number 1 or one of those holes, what would you have said if it was me in a tournament? I'm super nervous or whatever. What would you have said? Let's go find it and hit the freaking ball again. Hopefully.
I would have said it far nicer than that.
But can you try that, or is that not something you're willing to do?
I will try. Look at this, trying to call me out. I'm trying to stop this podcast. You're bringing back my 10. Trying to trigger me.
That's my challenge for Steve. So we will see after he gets back next week. So the 14th, 15th is your tournament.
There we go.
And we will follow up then. As always, stay happy, stay safe, and we hope to catch you soon.